Ooh, spicy. What's going on, guys? Welcome in to episode 15 of the HotSauceZee podcast. Let's get things kicked off here. Sorry I missed last week. I had just gotten back from a beach trip the weekend before, so 2 weekends ago, I did a beach trip and had a lot of fun down on the coast. It was actually right after Hurricane Laura hit, so the sand and all of that was actually pretty packed down, and everything was like not super powdery, so it was easy for the vehicles to get out there and drive on it. We didn't get a lot of sand all over everything, and it was just overall a pretty good time. The waves are pretty choppy, so they were kind of fun to get out there and bounce around on, swim around on, and we definitely drank a lot of beer. But that also wore me out, so I didn't do a podcast last week because I was kind of, having to get back into my schedule and everything. But we're back on track this week, and we're here for episode 15 of the HotSauceZee podcast. We did it. We made it to 15 episodes. So shout out to everybody that's been supporting so far. We've got a couple steady listeners, and I really appreciate you guys for being there. You know who you are if you're one of those listeners that's been there since the start. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that's joined in since then. I definitely appreciate all of the support. Y'all guys rock and roll. And sorry I've been bad about putting up the video podcast, but some of you might be watching this or at least listening to it on YouTube, and so I appreciate you guys as well. I'm gonna be getting more of those episodes up there. Not all of them are gonna have a video component, like as if I was streaming this and you see me sitting at my desk, essentially, is all it is. But the newer ones will have that. I think I've done this will be, I think, the third one that I've done with a visual component. So anyways, yeah, let me get my drink cracked open. Today we're drinking Waterloo Black Cherry. Not an ad, but Waterloo, you can feel free to sponsor me. Drink y'all stuff all the time. Y'all rock. Got a little cloudy day outside today. It might rain. I don't know, but I'm pretty excited about, I don't know, everything that's gone on this week. So let's kind of get into it. First of all, I wanted to talk about probably the forefront of FPS right now, of course, is the Call of Duty Cold War multiplayer reveal that they did yesterday. I tuned in. That was noon time here is when it got revealed. I tuned into the Twitch stream and I was like, all right, let's check this out. Let's see what's going on. And so I jumped in there, and for the longest time, they didn't even really say anything, which was kind of annoying. It was just all of this high energy, super octane, the Call of Duty you've been waiting for. Excuse me. Got a little bit too much energy there. But it was just a bunch of charged hype language is essentially most of what the reveal was, to be honest. There wasn't a whole lot of content in it, right? They didn't really reveal just a whole lot. I mean, progression is still, we don't know what it is. They're going to shed more light on that later. I guess you just had to, I didn't watch much of the gameplay from the streamers because I needed to move on and do my own thing. So I had to move on yesterday, and I didn't watch too much of the streamer gameplay. I guess that's where the main part of the reveal came from. There was really just a bunch of just high energy talk essentially throughout the reveal. They did reveal a couple of things. I guess I'll just put it out there right now. I wasn't blown away by the Black Ops Cold War reveal. I saw some accounts and some things on Twitter that were like, "Oh wow, dude, this Call of Duty is gonna be the one," in all caps, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I wasn't blown away by it, honestly. I mean, it looks like Call of Duty. They didn't show me anything that I was just like, oh wow, dude, hell yes. I mean, it was just it looks like pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. It's thankfully, at least the gunplay looks a little bit different than what's in Modern Warfare's multiplayer. It looks like it's kind of slowed down a little bit, and there's going to be a little bit more, I don't know, something that makes it kind of worth it. The Modern Warfare multiplayer is just, has always kind of just been memes to me. It's so fast and just, I mean, you can like, oh, I know a guy's going to come from that angle right there, and just like literally hold the fire button, hold mouse 1 or hold the right trigger on that angle, and guys walk into it and just die. That's how fast. It's like playing hardcore the entire time. I've never even played hardcore on, well, I've never played the multiplayer, first of all. I've only ever played the multiplayer trials, and they don't put hardcore on the Warzone multiplayer trials. But like, it's all so fast, you know? It's just like, okay, you know, and you can die to like somebody just going across the map, you know? I mean, that's kind of dumb to me. I've never enjoyed that. But, I mean, it is cool, I guess. It's not going to help. The Modern Warfare multiplayer has never been like one you can sit down and like practice like your aim on, right? It's more for practicing like reflexes and like flicks and snaps and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't really... There's not enough time to practice aim necessarily. I mean, flicks and all that is a part of aim, but you know what I mean? Like, there's no like tracking and like, I mean, because you don't have to. I mean, you just hold the fire button in the general direction of people, and most of the time you're going to get them. So, I don't know. I am excited that Cold War looks like it's going to be slowed down a little bit from that pace. Maybe not, you know, excessively, but it did look a little slower, the streamers I did watch. So that's nice. They showed off quite a few modes, or there was quite a few vehicles in a lot of the trailers, and I don't really see any in the gameplay, except for maybe some boats, perhaps. But it really looks like they're pushing vehicles more, which, I mean, you know me, I'm a Battlefield guy, so coming from a Battlefield person's perspective, like, it looks like even more with Black Ops Cold War, that was like, all right, they're heading in that direction. They're wanting to eat even more of Battlefield's lunch, right? Coming for that player base a little bit more. The things that we love as Battlefield fans. Now, of course, it's still definitely far from what a Battlefield fan is going to want it to prefer or whatever. It's only going to be a 12v12, which is, you know, definitely not as big as a Battlefield round, of course, or server lobby. And I mean, it's coming close to, like, what is that? Like, Squad Conquest is an 8v8. Okay, so it's a little bigger than that, but it's a little smaller than like a Domination or the other 16v16 modes. So, I mean, it's getting close, but it's like not quite there, you know? I mean, it's kind of hovering in like the middle realm there as far as like player count goes in a given game mode. But they showed off that 12v12 domination mode, so there's points to capture. They said they have raised the like surface area that a point takes up, so you can cap. You don't have to be like right next to the freaking flagpole to try and cap the point, which is nice. That'll be nice. So yeah, I mean, it's essentially like domination in the recent Battlefields. A smaller game type with flags to cap, and there's vehicles. Of course, there's no destruction, and I would imagine that the vehicle gameplay is probably going to feel a little shallow compared to Battlefield. At least I hope, anyway, for Battlefield's sake. But then again, I talked about this on Twitter, actually, in a response to one of Flackfire's tweets. He was talking about the domination mode, and I actually said that if this domination mode comes out and is a hit and is actually really, really good for Call of Duty, that could actually end up being really, really good for Battlefield. Because obviously this game's coming out, you know, Cold War's coming out in a couple months. Like, that's coming out this year. So, and the next Battlefield is supposedly, you know, I mean, we've got COVID and all that going on, so I don't know how that's gonna, you know, that may end up delaying it. I hope not. We're so far out from another Battlefield. Like, I hope it doesn't get delayed. But anyways, it could be really, really good for Battlefield if this new Call of Duty domination mode hits, you know, because if it becomes, you know, if the Call of Duty version becomes popular and then Battlefield, the next one, Battlefield 2021 comes out, it's like, hey, if y'all really liked that 12v12 over there on Call of Duty, why don't y'all come try it out over here on Battlefield, where we've got destruction, we've got better vehicle gameplay. I mean, if the vehicles in this Call of Duty 1 are anything like what they were in Modern Warfare, then Battlefield has better vehicle gameplay. Anyways, so it's like Battlefield just comes out and it's like, hey, we've got a better product, like, because that's what we do, you know? So if y'all enjoyed that, definitely come over here and we get some people coming into Battlefield because of the success of Cold War's 12v12 Battlefield-ish mode. I think Ground War, you know, in the current Modern Warfare was definitely, that was like, hey, let's check out, let's do the Battlefield thing, let's see what we can do with it. And it was a disaster. It was honestly kind of a crap mode. I know a lot of the Battlefield people didn't really enjoy it, and I don't know of many people that spent a lot of time like maining Ground War, because it was a disaster. There was kill streaks everywhere. The commentator wouldn't shut up. I mean, I turned him off in that game mode because he wouldn't shut up, and it's just like constant UAVs. It was pings on the map all the time. It was just a disaster of a mode. It wasn't very good, and I think Call of Duty realized that, and now they've gone to a smaller kind of Battlefield-ish mode, and they're doing this domination. So that one's probably a lot more manageable with all the kill streaks and all that, and it'd probably be a lot of fun. And like I say, that could be a really, really good thing for us Battlefield fans, because it may bring more people to the next Battlefield looking, if they really, really enjoyed that experience specifically, then they may try to pop over to Battlefield. As long as we, as the Battlefield community, you know, do a good job of like saying, I mean, we've got to probably do that directly. I mean, that's kind of going to be on us streamers and us content creators to say that, and to be like, hey, for you guys that enjoy this game mode, you know, come over to Battlefield 2021, whatever it's going to be, and, you know, let's play. I mean, essentially, like, let's convert you. Come over to Battlefield and let's show you why we need to get Battlefield going again, because Battlefield rocks, you know. It hasn't lately, but I mean, I don't know, I've been saying this like lately, it's crazy to me that, and this is kind of going on a tangent off of the Call of Duty reveal and my reactions to that, but it's crazy that Battlefield used to, like, I mean, Battlefield and Call of Duty were neck and neck, you know. I mean, it was like they were competing, just boom, 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 and now it's just, I mean, Call of Duty is like way the hell up here, dude. Battlefield's been screwing up, and it's a disaster. So I'm hoping that, dude, the next Battlefield's got to hit. It's got to hit. But to get back to Cold War, yeah, I wasn't blown away. I mean, as a Battlefield guy, you'd think I'd be like, hell yeah, you know, 12v12 domination, let's do it. And I mean, I'm definitely down to play that mode as a Battlefield guy, because that's going to feel more like home. And I haven't played it, so I'm just going based off of what I saw and what they talked about in the reveal. But I wasn't like blown away to the point of being like, dude, Cold War is going to be it, man. It's going to be it. I think I wasn't blown away. The maps didn't look super, super exciting. They looked just kind of like what you would expect from a Treyarch, you know, Black Ops Call of Duty. They look like that. And they even said that it's just classic, like, 3-lane style. Like, I mean, you just have these routes to go, and then that's it. There's not a lot of... You can't get very creative with your flanking and all that when there's only 3 routes to watch. I mean, that's just... You're going to run into opposition on either side. It's not really... I mean, it's not like Battlefield. I mean, I guess there's less numbers, so you may get lucky and, you know, flank left, and there's nobody happening to be watching that. Maybe there's 6 and 6 on the other, but, I mean, what are the chances of that? And I'm sure the 12v12 maps are a little different, but the regular multiplayer, they said 3-lane classics at one point in the reveal, which is fine. I mean, I don't know what the size differences is between the modes, but yeah, maps didn't blow me away. I mean, they looked okay. The audio didn't really blow me away either. I mean, of course, we're listening to it on stream. I wasn't listening to it direct via, you know, me actually playing the game. But the gun audio didn't blow me away. The current Modern Warfare audio for the guns is like really nice. It's punchy. Everything's distinct. Like every gun sounds like a little different. I really like the way everything about the gun in the current Call of Duty and Modern Warfare is really, really good. Like they look really great. All of like the animations for them look great. The reloads. I mean, you get the little bit of like the smoke coming out of the barrels and all that, and you know, everything looks really good about. And they sound great too. Everything about the current guns is really awesome. And then like watching all the reveal stuff yesterday and the gameplay they showed, and the guns just kind of sound like back to the good old pea shooter, just kind of like, you know, kind of Black Ops kind of sounding guns. And I was just like, oh, well, that's disappointing. I thought we kind of turned a corner with the audio, but we're just kind of back to the same. They talked about it in the trailer. They're like, well, there was this whole, like, it was another one of those supercharged, like, hypey language kind of segments about, like, all right, yeah, I mean, we've really stepped it up with the audio on this. And I was like, well, let me hear it then, dude. I don't hear it. Like, it doesn't sound stepped up to me. It just sounds like what we've always gotten. And I don't know, the audio didn't blow me away. A couple other people on Twitter I saw, it didn't blow them away either, so I'm not alone in that thought. But I don't know. Maybe playing the game itself, it would sound a little bit better. But as far as like what I heard on the stream, I was like, okay. I mean, it's fine. And, you know, they could always polish it. I know this stuff is like supposedly alpha build or whatever. But yeah, and then, dude, my biggest hang up, they just kind of mentioned this quick in passing. Try to sneak it in there on us. They were talking about because, you know, Black Ops does the score streaks, right? Well, they were talking about these score streaks, and that's my biggest hang up, man. They said that the score streaks don't reset upon death. Huh? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? So if I die, I get to keep all my points that I just earned towards my score streak. Doesn't make it much of a streak there, does it, Treyarch? That's not a score streak. That's just called score. That's just the amount of points you've earned, dude. And I don't like that. That's just like straight up, I mean, unapologetically catering to casuals to make it to where they can get their chopper gunner without having to like learn to get good at the game to get their chopper gunner. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all of this like casual catering stuff. And you know, I think it's already been confirmed, but if it hasn't, you know, score-based matchmaking is going to be in there too. So we've got score streaks that don't reset upon death, and we've got score-based matchmaking, and all this stuff just caters to casual players, and it makes it much, much harder for people that have put in the time to get better at FPS games, and it's just frustrating, you know? So little bot Timmy over here is going to be able to, I don't know, what's a chopper gunner score streak? What is that, like 10 or 15 or something? He's going to be able to do like 15 and 35 and still get a chopper gunner, you know? I mean, what? And I've seen, what is the Twitter account, Charlie Intel? I've seen him trying to defend, or at least maybe not defend, but explain the score streak thing. And he says there's multipliers if you don't die, so you reach higher score streaks faster. And then they also said that there's a cooldown whenever you use like a score streak. So if you're a badass and you get your chopper gunner and you know, blah, 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 you know, mess people up and get another chopper gunner, you can't even use it for who knows how long. They didn't specify. I guess that's another thing I had to have watched the gameplay for, but they didn't specify what the cooldown was on the score streaks. But those right there are supposed to be the mitigating factors on the fact that pretty much everybody can do everything now. I mean, it takes away even the point of a score streak. You know, it's no longer a score streak. It's just score. I mean, I was telling, you know, one of my friends about it, and Gunmage says, like, well, that makes it to where it's just an ability, essentially. You're not even equipping a score streak, you're equipping an ability. It's like a field upgrade. It's like you have, and field upgrades are in the game too, so it's like you have a field upgrade, and then you have your score streak, but really it's just like 3 more field upgrades, because, I mean, if you're playing the game, you're going to get them. I mean, I don't know. It just takes away even the whole point of a score streak, because I mean, that's not an incentive. That's a participation trophy. I mean, essentially, it's just participation deal just to give. I don't know. I don't like it. That's stupid. I hope they go back on that, or I mean, they probably won't. But I don't know. I just thought it was dumb. I don't like that. It's just more of this like. I don't know. They're like taking all the competitiveness out of games because they're just making it where everybody can do everything. I don't know. It's stupid. But that's about what I've got to say on the Call of Duty reveal. They didn't really say a whole lot. They spent a lot of time just saying just stuff. I mean, it was just like marketing, like best ever, most something this, and our most exciting yet, and is just a whole bunch of just, I don't know, crap like that. I'm like, okay, cool. Actually tell me something, Tell me something about your game, not just like, we did this, we made this cool game. Dude, this game is, and this is, okay, reveal something, dude. And then, of course, I loved in the trailer, well, not the trailer, but the reveal stream, they like started off, it's the dude talking, he's standing there like in his little operations room, and then it's like boom, and they show us the trailer, and like, okay, fine, it's a cool trailer. And then they do a whole bunch more of the charged language and talking, and like they reveal like a little bit, and then before they do, I don't remember what it was, before they revealed something else, they of course had to show us the trailer again, and it's a long ass trailer. I was like, dude, I don't need to watch the whole trailer again, dude. It was for the people, obviously we're tuning in later, but like we don't need to see it again, man. That's a long trailer to be showing again. But of course they showed it again. Have y'all seen did y'all see the start menu, I guess you would call it, the opening menu for the game? It's like legit the exact same as what's on Warzone right now. It's like you've got a horizontal row of like zombies, multiplayer, campaign, and whatever the hell else. It's like a horizontal row of those titles, and then you like hover over them, and like a bar appears, and then like it shifts with it's the same. It's literally the same menu essentially as what Modern Warfare has, and then they pretty much kept the same. Like the whole loadout and like the gunsmith and all that, that's all pretty much the same. They said every weapon's got like 54 attachments for it. So, I mean, that's all, which is good. Like, I'm not trying to rag on that bit because that's actually good that they kept that. I really like that about Modern Warfare. And in Modern Warfare, there's way more optics than I would ever use. I mean, there's like so many optics in Modern Warfare, like I'm not even going to use half those. But like, I do like in Modern Warfare that all the attachments do a specific stat change. And then it's really good in Cold War, actually. I noticed this from, I think Stod tweeted this out, Stada. But you can actually see the percent changes to different things like ADS or aim walking stability, all that kind of stuff. You can see they put it in numbers whenever you equip a new attachment. So you can see that there's a 6% either plus or minus on your ADS. You don't have to go like hunting for a Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone secret attachment stats.com website to like find this shit. They just put it in the game, which is nice. I mean, that's super cool they did that. But like I was saying, I do like that all the attachments have a little stat modifier that it makes all the attachments and all that just a little bit deeper. And I thought they did a really good job with that in Modern Warfare. So I'm glad to see it return in Cold War. But yeah, it is essentially a copy paste over. And it looked like there's not like a character screen, like there was in times past where it's showing a soldier. It looks like, again, your character is going to be like your gun. And they showed, instead of it being a gun bench, it's now a gun wall, and your primary hangs up top, your secondary hangs below. You've got like different objects representing your perks, and then like you have a file that represents field upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So it's essentially the same thing, but a little different, and that's fine. I think that was a cool part of Modern Warfare, so it's kind of neat to see it again. We didn't get to see like what kind of guns were going to be in the game. That's fine. Yeah, that's just one of those things you're going to see it when you play it. I did hear that the AK-74U is pretty much OP, like meta, in the build that streamers and stuff are playing right now. Pretty much, if you're not using AK-74U, what are you doing? But it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what all kind of guns are in there and like, what kind of balance they've got on them and everything. I saw just other, random things, swimming underneath the water and like reloading, all that kind of stuff is in there. I saw one guy just managing one of the points on domination, just pretty much completely under the water. He would pop up, pop, shoot, and then go back under the water, and he's reloading under. It was like, you're just essentially moving around the map, but just in a different way, just under the water, which is kind of neat. You can see players' health bars. That's a thing. I didn't see anything about zombies, so if you're looking for zombies news, sorry, I don't have any. I don't really care about zombies either. I don't play it. I never really got into zombies. I know people are like fanatical about the zombies mode, which is I don't care. I never play it. I play Call of Duty for the multiplayer. I don't even hardly remember the campaigns, honestly. They're cool. I play them like once and then I'm out. Like I don't like the numbers, Mason. I don't remember even like. I don't remember the Black Ops campaign. I don't remember the story. Like I remember that, and that's it. I don't even remember the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, really. Like I don't remember what the story was. I do remember the end, where you throw the knife into the dude's eye. That's pretty sick. But like I don't remember. Like I don't know who Ghost is. I don't remember these people. I play the multiplayer. But anyways, I guess. Is that about it on Call of Duty here? Perhaps. That's about what I know for that. I mean, it probably sounds like I was trying to like rag on it super hard. I'm really not. I mean, I haven't even played it, so of course I can't rag on it. I can only go based off what I saw in the reveal. And like I said, I just wasn't blown away. But we'll see. I'm definitely not opposed to playing it. Like I'd love to get in the beta and try it out. I played the Modern Warfare beta. And actually enjoyed it and was going to buy the game and just never did. But I'd love to play the beta for Cold War whenever it's a thing, and get a little bit of hands-on impressions. That'd be a lot of fun. I did mention on Twitter that I wanted to talk about my new sensitivity. So I've gotten back into my Kovacs training. I let it kind of lapse over the summer. Excuse me. I was busy traveling and seeing some family and whatnot, so I was away from my setup for a little while. Let my practice lapse, but I'm kind of back on it now and kind of getting back into the groove of things. And I was pushing my sensitivity like down as far as centimeters per 360. People typically understand sensitivity. If you go down in centimeters per 360, you're going up in sensitivity, essentially. Not essentially, I mean, that is what's happening, because you're going a further distance with less distance mouse moved. But now that we've got that established, I typically speak within centimeters per 360 because that's kind of like everybody in the FPS realm, they get that, or inches. But a lot of people use centimeters per 360. So that's, from here on out, that's what I'm speaking of when I say up or down. So, I mean, down means faster, up means slower. But I was moving my sensitivity down. Like let's make it quicker. Let's go quicker. And I was practicing with that because I wanted to be able to, just be faster essentially. And it was fine. Like for the longest time I was hovering. If you guys have watched my streams or see me talk about anything in any of my clips, I was hovering around 24 centimeters per 360. And I was at 800 DPI, and I was doing that for a long time. And then I started to work down from that, and I hovered around 18 for a little bit, and then I just like bit the bullet and I jumped down to 12, and I was rocking a 12 about before my little vacation break and all of that. And so when I came back, I jumped back up to 24, but then I halved it to 12 again. And I mean, it was playing fine. I love the recoil control at 12. It's fantastic because you barely have to even move your mouse down to manage recoil at 12 centimeters per 360. But I got to looking at what some other people were doing, and well, before I say that, at 12 centimeters per 360, I loved the speed. Loved it. I mean, it was great to be able to just, I mean, I could pretty much wrist aim everything and not really have to like worry about running out of mouse mat. That's another reason I was dropping my centimeters per 360 just constantly, is because I've got a little bitty mouse mat. I mean, it's not even, it's like 10 by 11 or something. I'll show it on the video podcast. I mean, it's little bitty. It's the size of my head, you know? So I don't have just a whole lot of room to move my mouse. So larger sensitivities, it's, you know, if I'm something around like closer to 40 centimeters per 360, I just don't have enough mouse mat to do any kind of tracking or any kind of movement on a mouse mat this small that I have. So I was moving down because I was like, okay, if I can move my sensitivity down, I can do that to figure out, you know, not to figure out, but like once I do that enough, I'll be accustomed to using that, and that'll fit on my mouse mat a lot more. I don't have to worry about like running out of room, because the problem with my current setup is I'm using this stupid keyboard tray because my desk that my PC setup is on is not a computer desk, it's a writing desk, and there is a difference, because a writing desk is actually built higher so that you can write on it. You know, it's up at writing level. And a computer desk, you actually, as far as ergonomics go, it needs to be a little bit lower. And there is a pretty good difference between a writing desk and a computer desk. The desktop on my desk is too high. So to put like mouse and keyboard, when I played that way for a while, I had my mouse and keyboard up on the top, and I had a lot more room to move around. But the problem with that is I have to pull my shoulders up to get my arms out, and so it puts strain on long gaming sessions in my shoulders, and then also my arms get more tired because I'm having to hold them straight out in front of me the whole time, which is just not good ergonomics. So I moved the keyboard and mouse down onto the tray, but a downside to that was that I don't have a lot of room. So when I track left, my thumb smashes into the side of the keyboard, and when I track right, my pinky smashes into this stupid little wall that's built onto the keyboard tray, the very edge of the keyboard tray. So I don't have a lot of room, so I was dropping the sensitivity to practice that way, with the thinking that once I did that, I would be able to, I don't know, have better make use of the real estate I have, essentially by using a lower centimeter 360. And it was fine. It was working okay. You know, I mean, I was having okay games. I mean, I was still top 5 on team boards and stuff like that in Battlefield. Like I was doing fine. And Kovac sessions were going okay. I tended to have a little bit of issues with like jitter and stopping and stuff like that, of course, because it's higher sensitivity. But I figured I could practice that out in time. But I got to looking, now I'm finally getting back around to it. I got to looking at what some other people were using. And I was on Ender's stream watching him, and y'all know Ender's, and y'all know I like stan his infantry skills because they're amazing. But, you know, obviously I'm trying to be like Ender's. At least as far as his mechanical ability goes. I'm not trying to be as ragey as him because that's just not quite my personality. But anyways, I digress. He uses at 800 DPI. He's at I think I saw a 26.67 centimeter per 360 at 800 DPI. So quite a bit higher than 12. Now to contrast that, I was watching 0 Hour stream the other day on Battlefield, and he's just as good as Enders. He's a badass as well. He actually uses a 13 centimeter per 360, so he's half of what Enders is. But both Enders and him look the same amount of speed in the game. I mean, between just boom, 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 you know, flicking between targets or angles or whatever, they both look, I mean, it's just different sensitivities require different movement, but you can make them move the same speed. So that was an interesting thought or realization that I came to. I was like, oh, okay. So I don't necessarily have to make my sensitivity super low in order to be fast. I just need to better utilize the other sensitivity. And then to add on top of that, I jumped into Dr. Bond's stream, who plays on PC as well, if y'all don't know who he is. He's always racking up massive kills on Battlefield. And so I popped into his stream, and I was chatting with him the other day about what he uses. And he gave me... Well, he didn't know his centimeters per 360, but he told me he was an in-game. He told me his in-game sends. I don't remember what it was now, and he told me his DPI. So I went onto the website that I use and calculated it out. Dr. Bond's centimeter per 360 is a whopping 39 centimeters per 360. So massively different than 0 Hour. But Bond is just as fast as well. As far as when you watch him, he's just as fast. He can snap to targets, and it's just boom, boom, boom. And I was like, wow, dude, 39 centimeters per 360? I was like, you must have a massive mouse mat. And he said, yeah, he's got the largest one that Viper offers. So all of that got me thinking. I was like, well, shoot, you know what? When I first watched 0 Hour stream, saw he was at 13, I was like, let me try that. And so I tried it again, and of course that brings me back to where I was talking about, like, I was top 5, I was doing fine on leaderboards, all that kind of stuff. And then I talked to Dr. Bond, I was like, well, hell, let me try raising my sensitivity for the first time in like a long time, because I think when I started PC, I was somewhere around like I don't know. I think it was like somewhere around like 36. So not far off from where Bond is at. 39 is crazy slow. There's no way I could do that with my current mouse mat. I just don't have enough room. There's not enough room for me to track, even to do a 180 on my current mouse pad. But I was like, you know what? Let me try raising it for the first time in a while. I was like, with the idea that I wanted to eventually push to that 39 just to try it out. But I was like, I want to do it in increments and see kind of where I land. And I ended up landing on 30 centimeters per 360, and I've kind of like stuck there for a little while because the last couple of days, 30 centimeters per 360 has felt like this crazy sweet spot for me. Like, Kovacs practice sessions are going way better. Everything is starting to feel like crisp and clean again, and I've been doing great in games. I mean, I've been breaking 50 kill games for like pretty consistently for the first time it's been a long time since I've been breaking 50 kill games in Battlefield, which, like I said, I've been like top 5. I've been doing okay, like leaderboard wise, but like last night I was playing and I got on a roll last night. Well, if you were watching stream, I actually wasn't on a roll towards the end, but I was starting to get tired. But last night I was on a roll. I mean, I was hitting like over 50 kill games pretty consistently. Number 1 position on the team board, unless I was in a round with like one of these other guys that's like Dr. Bond, and I'm having to fight for the kills. But like in servers where it was like pretty much, like just me, I actually got a server where I could like spank some people. I mean, racking them up, 70 kill games, It was nuts. Like it's night and day difference moving to 30 centimeters per 360. And I was like, wow, dude. And the crazy thing is I actually feel faster at a higher or slower centimeter per 360 or sensitivity. Like it feels way, way different. And the reason it's faster is because it's just more clean. I'm able to like better land where I want whenever I move the crosshair, when I snap to an enemy. Like the flicks are so much more clean. I'm not having to do a lot of like correcting on the initial acquisition. It's just like I snap to them and, deal with what I need to deal with. Take them down or don't, but like I'm on target more often. And the tracking has been easier. I'm not like constantly like dancing left and right over the target by overshooting. Every time I try to like do a micro correction, I'm not overshooting that. So it's just everything is so much more clean. And I'd be curious to see even what a higher sensitivity would do for me, but 31 centimeters per 360 is about the top that I can do right now with the mouse mat limitation. I can't do any more than that because then I can't do a swipe to do a 180. I have to do 2 swipes to do a 180, and that's too slow. That's just too much movement. That'll get you killed, not being able to turn around on somebody if they surprise you. So 31's about where I'm topping out right now at the moment, which is fine because I've been digging it. 30 centimeters for 360s felt great. I have in my mind, I've got a plan to build actually a platform for my chair to sit on, because I've got my chair height topped out. We're going to kind of shift and talk about ergonomics real quick. I've got my chair height topped out, so I can't put my setup back on the desktop to where I'd have more room. If I could do that, I'd buy a bigger mouse mat, and then I'd have a lot more room to do wider, angles, wider tracking angles, and I'd be down to practice that way as well. I just can't right now because of what I talked about earlier, the shoulder strain, all that, bad ergonomics. But if I can raise my chair about 4.5 inches, I'll be able to have the elbow, because you want your elbow at a 90, you want your knees and legs, you want those at a 90 to keep everything comfortable. And I just can't do that on the desktop. I can do it with the keyboard tray, but those suck. So I think that's what I'm planning to do, is to build a platform for my chair to get it up to the right seat height, and then I can use the desktop, get a better mouse mat, and do tracking that way. That would allow me to practice even higher sensitivities, and kind of see where they put me. But I can't do that until I build that platform. I've already got the plans kind of laid out for how I want to make it. I just need to get the materials to do so. I'm thinking about putting up a YouTube video on doing it in case anybody else wants to do the same thing. We'll have that video up. It's going to be a really simple design, and I think it'll get the job done. But if you guys are interested in a YouTube video, just let me know on Twitter or wherever. Just shoot me a comment or a message and say, yeah, dude, I'd be down to know about that. I'm probably going to do it anyway because I love DIY videos. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I actually did a lot of DIY YouTube videos before I started even doing the gaming deal. So definitely, I'm comfortable making those kind of videos, but this one actually happens to pertain to gaming. So I may throw a video up on that. But yeah, no, really, I mentioned on Twitter last night that I wanted to talk about that sensitivity change on the podcast because it's made a massive difference. Like, it feels like I unlocked some kind of superpower, and I don't know, like, some of it is probably just like new sensitivity effect, because I tend to have that whenever I switch to a new sensitivity. I'll move my arm or my wrist in the way that I did with the old sensitivity, but with the new one, and that tends to make it like, I don't know, like work really, really well. And then like as I settle into the new sensitivity, I start to get lazy with my arm movements, and so it makes it be less effective, if that makes sense. That's probably kind of, I don't think I explained it right, but that's kind of the best way I know how to say it. So then like I end up having to switch it again. But I don't know. It could be that I use that 12 centimeters per 360 for a little while. So that, for whatever reason, like honed a specific part of my movement set that makes the slower one now work better. I don't know what the combination of things was, but really, really digging 30 centimeters per 360, and I actually can't wait to play a little bit more, get a practice session in on Kovacs, and play a little bit more Battlefield with it, because it's been just fantastic. I've really, really enjoyed it. Like, sniping feels like clean again. Well, again, if you watched my stream last night, it was not clean. It was bad. My sniping got pretty poor there at the end. But I did have a game on Underground where I was just popping heads left and right. I ended up being, I think, second on the scoreboard, just sniping. What is going on? Where'd my screen go? And yeah, I was able to get the Gewehr M95 Mastery 6 or whatever it is done on Battlefield, where you got to headshot enemies in objective areas. It was Underground, and it helped that one guy just happened to keep getting on one of those mounted guns, and I was able to just pop every time I did it. I was like, I don't know why you keep doing that, but I'm just going to keep headshotting you. Anyways, so yeah, be sure to check out a stream. I've been just experimenting with 30 centimeters for 360. I've been putting it in the stream title that, like, that's what we're doing. We're trying out new sensitivities, and it's been working out pretty well so far. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast here. We're getting close to 45 minutes, and y'all have probably heard me drone on and on about sensitivities enough here. But today we talked about, just 2 topics, which is pretty nuts. The Cold War reveal and the changes that I've been doing sensitivity-wise, and a little bit of ergonomics. We got a little bit of ergonomics in there. I'll definitely show a lot more of that if I do end up making that YouTube video about how to make the platform I'm planning on building. But Anyways, guys, appreciate you tuning in to episode 15 of the HotSauceZee podcast and listening to me drone on about what's going on in my FPS. Can't talk. I'm getting tired. My FPS journey here. If you have not got a chance, please be sure to follow the podcast or subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening, and rate and review, as that stuff like massively helps in getting the podcast kind of pushed up the ranks and getting exposed to more people. So if you enjoy the podcast, please be sure to do that. If you don't enjoy the podcast, be sure to do that and tell me what I can improve upon. I'm not a stranger to criticisms. I definitely, you have to consider all perspectives. So let me know what you think in that way, rate and review. And if you haven't got a chance, be sure to check out all of my other socials as well. I'm everywhere. Literally everywhere. I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, YouTube, this podcast that you're listening to. If we start doing gamer DIYs, maybe I'm going to be on Pinterest, we don't know. Twitch, of course, for the streaming. I'm on Facebook as well. I'm not super active on there. The most active platforms that I'm going to be on are Instagram and Twitter. I tend to post on those every single day. I'm on TikTok probably third. Of course, we have this podcast weekly, and Twitch is actually the most active. I'm on Twitch streaming at least usually 2 times a day right now, every single day. Well, every single weekday. I take the weekends off. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 15. I look to get another one out next week. We'll see how it goes. But until then, take it easy, and I guess see you on the battlefield. Kick some ass out there. Hope y'all have some good games this week. All right, we'll see you next week.